Well, with William O'Brien, I was always told that he was the man who set up the way we did our clerical duties in the union. And I remember coming to work there and thinking, well, I'd have a typewriter and everything, you know, coming away from school where I'd been taught that, typing in shorthand. But there wasn't a typewriter, I think, there was two in Liberty Hall, I think, at that time. And we had none, so everything was done by pen. And you transferred money from one ledger into another, and there was huge big registers, and I remember hours and hours of working, transferring the accounts from one book into this big register, which you'd have to stand up to reach the top of. And it was 3p and 4p was the weekly contribution for the union from women and from men. And I had all my 3p and 4p kind of going down in a lovely line, all with their like guns firing. And it was supposed to be William O'Brien who started that, and the system had worked on through. I only knew him to see, he used to come in every New Year's Day to pay his contribution for the year. He was meticulous about it, and he'd come in, a small man with a bad leg, and he'd stand at the counter and say, another O'Brien, because we both shared the same second name. And I'd say yes, and I'd say the usual. And he'd have his card ready and his money. And at one stage, for whatever reason, somebody decided to put a penny payment for the card in addition to what you would pay for your yearly contribution. And he disputed this hotly on the basis that if you were a union member and paid your contribution, the card was part of the deal. So no penny should be deducted. And I used to pay the penny for the man instead of having to go through all this argument. Because he would go mad if there was a penny debit on his card when he's finished his year. But he was extremely polite and would always ask how things were, and membership still going up, and whether it was or not, I'd say yes. And the trade, because he was a tailor, and so he was in the tailoring branch. And he kept his card there, which I thought was hugely to his, you know, you wouldn't think a man in this position would have kept it like that. But he was a tailor, and a tailor he would be to the day he died, he said. It was certainly not long retired, because when some of the officials in Liberty Hall saw him coming in, they'd vanish quickly. But he was an extremely nice man now. I'd say harsh perhaps in other ways, but nice to me anyway. And always would kind of comment upon the similarity in names. Some of them didn't know him at all because he would have been at head office kind of thing. Others kept away from him. I think there was some controversy there, but I never knew the ins and outs of it. But he would come in and up the stairs and across, and be extremely polite. And going out would say, "Have a good day." That's what I remember about him. He had a kind of thin voice, I think, which I suppose an elderly man you would maybe expect. But certainly it wasn't kind of, as I say, he was small and the voice was proportionate, I suppose. And he never kind of referred to any of the people who were there in his place, or decisions or things that might be going wrong or anything like that. No, there was no small talk like that. And he was extremely polite, except about the penny. He'd go mad about the penny.